Welcome to Simple Interest and Compound Interest Session 1. Have you ever borrowed some money from your friend or your sibling? What you do after that? You simply return that money when you get your next month's pocket money from your parents. It's very simple, right? But in real world, money is not free to borrow. So what happens when you give money to someone or when you give some loan to someone, you expect some extra amount on that. And this extra amount earned by giving money to someone is known as interest. Similarly, when you borrow some money from someone, you have to pay some extra amount to the lender. And this extra amount paid to the lender is known as interest. So interest is nothing but the amount earned or the amount paid by either lending money or borrowing money from someone. So this was the simple concept of interest. Interest is basically of two types: simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest is based on principal amount, whereas compound interest is based on the principal amount and the interest compounded for a cycle of the period. So now how do they differ from each other? What is the formula? How to calculate simple interest and compound interest? All these things we will be discussing later in this topic. In this topic, session 1 will be having the difference between simple interest and compound interest, some formulas and some examples. Session 2 will be having questions based on simple interest. Session 3 will be having questions based on compound interest. Session 4 will be having questions from previous papers. And session 5 will be having a practice test for you. And don't forget to attend the test.
Let's understand some basic concept of simple interest. Principal amount, the money borrowed for a certain period. Interest, extra money paid for using others' money. Simple interest, when the money is borrowed, the interest is charged for the use of that money. When the money is paid back, the principal and the interest is paid back. It is called simple because it ignores the effect of compounding. Let's understand the basic concept of compound interest. Here, interest also earns interest. When first time interest is added to the principal, from that moment on, the interest that has been added also earns interest. This addition of interest to the principal is called compounding. In such cases, amount after first unit of time becomes the principal for second unit of time, and amount after second unit becomes the principal for third unit, and so on. For example, a bank may have its interest compounded every year. An account with rupees 1000 initial principal and 20% interest per annum would have a balance of rupees 1200 at the end of first year and rupees 1400 at the end of second year, and so on. Difference between simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest is based on the original principal amount. So interest on interest is not included. It's generally used to find the interest for short-term loans. Whereas in compound interest, interest on interest is also included. It is generally used for long-term loans. Some important formulas. Simple interest is equal to P into R into T divided by 100, where principal amount is P, rate is R, and time is T. In case of compound interest, when interest is compounded annually, then amount is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 to the power n. When interest is compounded half yearly, amount is equal to P into 1 plus R by 2 divided by 100 to the power 2n. When interest is compounded quarterly, amount is equal to P into 1 plus R by 4 divided by 100 to the power 4n. When interest is compounded annually but time is in fraction, say 3 by 5 years, then we have to write the formula like this. Amount is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 to the power 3 into 1 plus 2 by 5R divided by 100. Question 1. A sum at simple interest at 27 divided by 2% per annum amounts to rupees 2502.50 after 4 years. Find the sum. We know the formula. Simple interest is equal to P into R into T divided by 100, where P is principal amount, R is rate of interest, which is 27 divided by 2%, and time is 4 years. Now let's substitute these values into this formula. And we get simple interest, which is equal to 27p divided by 50. Now we can add this interest with principal amount, which is equal to 2502.50, which can be written as P plus 27p divided by 50 is equal to 2502.50. With this we can calculate the value of P. P is equal to 1625. So our answer is rupees 1625. Question 2. In how many years will a sum of rupees 800 at 10% per annum compounded semi-annually become rupees 926.10? Here principal amount is rupees 800, rate of interest is 10%, and principal amount plus interest is rupees 926.10. So P is equal to 800, R equals 10, and P plus interest is equal to 926.10. We know the formula for compound interest. We can substitute all above values into this formula now, and we get this value. With this we can calculate the value of n, which is equal to 1.5. So our answer is 1.5 years.
Thank you for watching session 1. If you have any query, you can write back to me on mathskagurukul.vns@gmail.com.